seldom searches for a product. Instead, they research for a solution to a problem they are probably encountering. So does that make the role of content marketing more critical?
I think it's always important for anybody, individually or organizationally, to search for what they really want to look for and what are they frankly looking at.
Right.
Something that can elevate what they're already doing, or solve for a challenge or a problem that they're suffering from, right? And that's where technology comes in and balances that challenge engagement.
We all know Google as this iconic brand that we cannot live without. While that is a dream B2C descriptor for a brand, that's not all about Google. There's much more to it. Google Cloud today is one of the world's largest enterprise software companies catering to a diverse portfolio. It is the catalyst for growth for many enterprises, government organizations, as well as the society at large. To understand the complexities of Google's B2B marketing, I, Anirban Roy Choudhury, welcome you all to the inaugural episode of Economic Times Brand Equities Conversions Conundrums. Today we have with us Jaydeep Deshpande. He is the head of enterprise marketing at Google Cloud. Thank you, Jaydeep, for your time.
Thank you.
Would like to set the context by asking you your opinion on how receptive India as a market is to enterprise solutions, and if you see industries or categories that are more receptive compared to the others.
I think India has arrived at a stage today, after a while, where it's become the centerpiece of attention globally. And that means that even from a technology standpoint, we are extremely receptive to ensuring that technology becomes the center part of our organizational strategies, regardless of organizations, regardless of industries that they represent. So, having said that, there are a couple of industries that were always the front runners in terms of adopting technology. For example, banking, financial services, insurance, healthcare, life sciences, they've always been front runners.
Correct.
So if you look at operational technology, right, that has been in existence in these industries and organizations for almost about a decade or two. And obviously, since they were front runners then, they've started embedding and imbibing technologies which are new today as well. Shift focus to today's new generation organizations, right? The digital natives, the startups.
Yeah.
They're born in the cloud, right? And that would mean that their central piece of strategy is always technology, and then they build outwards. So across industries, whether it's manufacturing, whether it's retail, whether it's government as well, because if you look at government is an organization, an industry that caters to the largest number of people, citizens of the country. And they have started embedding technology as the centerpiece of their organizational strategy, right? So I feel that India has arrived, India's time has come, and this is exactly the decade or two for India.
Correct.
And technology will play a key role in our growth.
Yeah, and that's where you come in. I mean, you provide the enterprise solutions that do assist the brands in their growth. Having said so, I want to understand the psyche of a business buyer through your lenses. It is said that business buyer seldom searches for a product. Instead, they research for a solution to a problem they are probably encountering. So does that make the role of content marketing more critical?
Great question, first of all. I think it's always important for anybody, individually or organizationally, to search for what they really want to look for and what are they frankly looking at.
Correct.
Something that can elevate what they're already doing, or solve for a challenge or a problem that they're suffering from, right?
Okay.
And that's where technology comes in and balances that challenge engagement, right? And I think going forward as well, organizations will always look at solving for these challenges or elevating themselves in some form or the other. Now you asked about content.
Yeah.
Content, as cliche as it may sound, content has always been the king or queen. And when that be the case, you have to start appreciating content and building content
Correct.
that caters to the varied sets of audiences that you're really relating to. Let me give you a perspective on this, however. If you look at content 20 years back, that catered to a certain set of audiences, that catered to a certain set of personalities. Every individual is also a personality, right? That catered to a certain set of personality. And at the end of the day, it also catered to a certain set of organizations.
Correct.
Can I use the same content and apply that to individuals, personalities, and organizations today? Probably not.
Okay.
I'll have to tweak it a little bit. Some content might be appreciated, but most content might not be, because thought process has changed. Things have changed. People have evolved. There is a lot of innovation happening around us, right? So 20 years back, whatever content was working may not work 20 years down the line,
Correct.
which is today. And the beauty of it is that whatever content is working for us today, 20 years down the line might not work for the audiences that time.
Absolutely.
So we have to always keep evolving content, build narratives, build messages that are accepted and perceived positively by the audiences.
Okay, fantastic. When we talk about content, let's address the elephant in the room. And everybody today is talking about generative AI. They say marketers can no longer wait. Marketers no longer need to wait long time for copywriters to give quality content, because you can feed in the requirement in a chat GPT and it'll throw you the content. Are you satisfied with that content? And where do you see generative AI playing a larger role in marketing?
A decade or two back, there was a lot of talk about AI. And today, we're talking about generative AI. And believe me, generative AI is not just another shiny, bright object. It is here to stay. The beauty of marrying generative AI or AI to any field, in this case marketing, means that marketers can do what they do best.
Okay.
Identify personas, look at what kind of marketing engagements they can drive with those personas, look at probably building up your best return on marketing investments.
Yeah.
How do we get marketing qualified leads? How we build the top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, bottom of the funnel.
Correct.
And to augment these efforts, if I can apply AI and generative AI now, why not? If I can use generative AI to build hyper-personalized messages that reaches out to people specifically and in a bespoke manner, why not? Think about it this way. If I send out a message today about any product or a solution, be it in the B2C space or a B2B space as well, chances are that people might see it, look at it, but may also ignore it, because you're talking to a lot of audiences in the same way and with the same breadth.
Okay.
But if I'm able to create tailor-made bespoke messages for individual audiences by augmenting and implementing Gen AI in my marketing efforts, I think we have cracked the right code there.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Now that you have mentioned about the funnel, I want to understand from you. It is often said that B2B sales cycles tend to be longer, with many interventions from different seniority or hierarchy of the organizations you are dealing with. What is your nurturing strategies when it comes to the funnel of B2B marketing?
So B2B, yes, you're right in a way. It is having a little longer gestation period, right? From point A, where your first message lands up in front of the audiences, to the point where they end up buying your solution, product, technology, whatever that product or solution or technology you intend selling, right?
Correct.
Compared to a B2C. Sure. I think there are 3 pillars in which I would like to define this. The first pillar is, and I built this about 20 years back.
Okay.
The first pillar is about brand building, right? This is where you actually, or awareness, right? This is where you provide the air cover about your B2B organization's product, solution to the audiences in front of you. And let's not talk about what kind of audiences we are looking at right now, but your organization's intended audience is in front of you. How do you build that air cover? How do you build above the line, below the line, and everything in between kind of messages to target that audience?
Okay.
That's your brand building and awareness part. And there are multiple tactics to fulfill that pillar. The second pillar or the bucket I call is of demand generation or pipe building, right?
Correct.
This is what gets your bread and butter. See, building pipe, building demand is not just the sales forte. Everybody in the organization have to collaborate, come together and build that pipe.
Absolutely.
That's where you also get your marketing return on investment, right? Or what we call as ROMI.
Yeah.
You can't just see marketing as a spend function. Okay. Imagine if marketing ends up also becoming a function that, yes, it spends, but gets 10x, 100x revenue as a result of what they're spending, right?
Correct.
So your demand generation, your pipeline building efforts, again, there are multiple tactics to building that pipe, to building those qualified opportunities. The third pillar, and in my personal opinion, that's the most important pillar, is your infrastructure pillar, or in layman's term, your database pillar. Fantastic. Which means if your database of personas, if your database of organizations, accounts is not updated, is not accurate, then no matter how much you end up spending on your first two pillars, which is your brand building pillar or awareness and demand generation, you're going to end up reaching out to the wrong audiences or with the wrong messages. So therefore your database and infra has to be always updated and accurate.
Correct.
That's how I would like to put it.
So Jaydeep, what role does data play in Google Cloud's enterprise marketing efforts that you lead, and how do you leverage data to identify potential leads or even personalized messaging, because you spoke about hyper personalization of messages?
Right, another great question, by the way, Anirban. I think data plays a very critical role. In fact, data does play a critical role in any organization's marketing strategy or strategy in general. And data has always been and is and will continue to be the most important facet of how we engage with our customers and prospects and partners, right? Imagine the scenario. When I am doing marketing and when I'm engaging with my customers, if I happen to know a little bit about my customers at both a professional level as well as a little bit about on a personal level, then the conversation that I'm driving with those customers or individuals, or like I said, personalities, every individual is a personality, are going to be far more beneficial, far more conducive, and will result in building a better rapport, which is critical in us having a longevity of relationship, which may or may not culminate into business for the organization.
Correct.
But at the end of the day, it's important to build that rapport. Those days are gone where everything used to be based on gut.
Okay.
Right? Today, everything is based on fact. In my personal opinion, I also feel that at least 10-15% gut feel should always be there.
Yeah.
Because your gut generally doesn't go wrong. But with so much amount of data available, you can make those decisions based on fact. And what if I'm able to understand my customers in a far better way because of the data available, and then build my messages and narratives around that customer in a hyper personalized way, so that they appreciate what I'm talking to them. They know that it's not pure play carpet marketing, and that they also know that I'm really thinking in one and probably talking specifically about them to solve their business challenges.
Correct.
Data in this case will always continue to play a critical role.
Despite implementation of several technologies or analytics tool, I still hear marketers are grappling with the challenges of ROI and attribution. What are your thoughts on this?
Look, Anirban, I think attribution has been a challenge and is going to be a challenge for a reasonable amount of time. Frankly, at an individual level, I don't see a perfect fitment to how do we really solve 100% of the attribution challenges.
Okay.
And there's a reason for that. There are multiple people, multiple departments, functions involved in getting business for an organization to an organization. Okay. There is sales, there is marketing, there is engineering, there is pre-sales, post-sales, there is customer advocacy team, etc. And everybody's involved. Yeah. There is partners outside the organization as well, right, who are enabling businesses for the organization. When you have such a big ecosystem playing in a collaborative way to bring business to the organization, attribution can become a challenge.
Yeah.
How do we know that the effort that either marketing did or the partners did or the sales did has brought in a customer on board?
Correct.
And I think the only way to solve for this, because we have to find a solution in a collaborative way. And the only way to solve for this is when everybody in the organization come together and understand that winning a customer is never an individual department's prerogative or job. Okay. It's always all the departments coming together to bring that customer on board. Fantastic. And once we are clear about that aspect, I don't think the challenges or questions around attribution will ever be something that organizations will wonder or worry about.
That was Jaydeep Deshpande, Head of Enterprise Marketing at Google Cloud. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us in this episode. See you soon.